all eyes on Ibrox because things are absolutely exploding behind the scenes. One player's edging closer to the exit. A fan favorite might have kicked his final ball. There's a potential new winger being dubbed the next Sadio Mané for just £1.7 million. And believe it or not, Gareth Southgate is now being linked with the Rangers job. Want to hear all this and more? There's a lot going on, and we're diving into every bit of it. Stay with me till the end. Right, let's break this down. Ben Davies is back at Ibrox after his loan spell down south with Birmingham City. And let's be honest, he's not exactly walking into the Rangers starting 11 with a hero's welcome. The big centre-half, who we shelled out around £4 million for from Liverpool, has only a year left on his contract. That means if Rangers want to see any return on their investment, now's the time to cash in. Problem is, we're not getting anywhere near that original fee. If Birmingham want him, and by all accounts they do, it'll be for a fraction of what we paid, so a proper financial hit is on the cards. Now, Davies isn't playing coy either. Asked about staying at Birmingham permanently, he basically rolled out the welcome mat and said he'd consider it. Seriously, that's as close to a come and get me as you'll hear from a lone player. And why wouldn't he? They rate him. He played 44 times, helped keep 22 clean sheets, and was called a leader by his teammates. Christophe Clara, his centre-back partner, even went as far as saying Davies belongs at a higher level. But here's the kicker. Rangers are currently without a permanent manager. Barry Ferguson's holding the reins for now, but we've still not appointed a long-term gaffer. Until that happens, nobody's making calls on players like Davies or Kieran Dowell, another lonely Birmingham fancy keeping. So what are we left with? A player who's surplus at Ibrox, valued by another club, but not worth what we paid. It's a classic case of poor squad planning and worse timing. Would you accept taking a massive financial loss on Davies just to get him off the books? Or do you think it's sheer madness to let a player walk away for peanuts when he's proving himself elsewhere? It's a cruel way for any Rangers player to bow out, but it looks like Ianis Hagi has kicked his final ball in light blue, and it came in the heat of battle against that mob from the East End. After just 17 minutes on the park at Ibrox during the 1-1 draw with Celtic, Hagi pulled up injured, and that's it. No farewell, no curtain call, no moment to salute the crowd that once sang his name. Barry Ferguson confirmed it. Hagi's season, and most likely his Rangers career, is over. Now, here's where the sadness turns into sheer frustration. Hagi's out of contract this summer, and it seems the club is just going to let him walk away for nothing, not a penny. This is a lad we paid £3 million for, who showed his worth during that glorious 2020-21 title run under Gerrard. 7 goals, 11 assists, and countless moments of magic, and yet here we are again, staring down the same mistake we made with Alfredo Morelos and Ryan Kent. Valuable assets gone for free. Let's not kid ourselves. Hagi might have been inconsistent, but you don't fluke 11 goal contributions in 23 appearances. That's impact. He still had something to offer, especially when you consider the state of our attacking midfield options. And to let him go for nothing when his value was still respectable after a decent loan spell at Alaves and interest from Europe, it's a brutal failure in squad planning, plain and simple. There's talk about a new era with the 49ers Enterprises takeover, and that needs to mean proper footballing decisions, not sentimental ones, not indecisive ones. If a player's got value and isn't part of the long-term plan, sell, reinvest, don't bleed assets dry until they walk out the door for free, especially not one with the quality of Ianis Hagi. Has Rangers totally lost the plot by letting a player like Hagi leave free? Or do you think he was never good enough to justify a new contract in the first place? While everyone's busy debating whether we should break the bank to keep Václav Cerny at Ibrox, there's a name bubbling under the surface that could change the conversation entirely. Moussa Djenepo, Now, don't get me wrong, Cerny's had a cracking season, 17 goals, 7 assists, massive influence in the Europa League. He's delivered. But here's the problem, we don't own him, there's no buy clause, and Wolfsburg will want the full whack, close to £8 million. And when you're in the middle of a rebuild under new ownership with a new manager incoming, do you really throw all your eggs into one basket for a loan player? This is where Djenepo comes into play. Rangers are reportedly sniffing around the Standard Liège winger, who's just come off a loan spell in Turkey and is desperate for a fresh start. Here's the kicker, he's available for just £1.7 million. That's the price of a squad filler in the English Championship. And we're talking about a lad who's made 73 Premier League appearances and once had Southampton fans genuinely believing he was the next Sadio Mané. Djenepo himself has admitted he models his game on the Senegalese star. And while he's not banging in 20 goals a season, what he brings is something this Rangers squad desperately lacks: fearlessness. 2.1 successful dribbles per match in the Super League this season, top 1% for take-ons in Belgium last year, always asking questions of defenders. That's what Ibrox needs, someone to stretch games, draw fouls, open space and create chaos. Imagine him in a front three with a new striker and someone like McCausland or Matondo coming inside. Suddenly, we're not just crossing and hoping, we're running at teams, pulling them apart, playing with flair. And let's be honest, how many more times are we going to fall into the trap of falling in love with a lone player only to see him head off to Germany, Turkey, or the Premier League the minute summer hits? Would signing Moussa Djenepo and letting Cerny walk be a bold, smart rebuild, or would ditching one of our best performers of the season for a cheaper alternative be sheer lunacy? Well now, here's a name no one saw coming: Gareth Southgate. That Gareth Southgate, the waistcoat-wearing, media-friendly England boss, is now being tipped as a surprise contender to take the reins at Ibrox. Yeah, let's call this what it is, a bold shout. Southgate has been operating in the goldfish bowl of English football, guiding his national side to a World Cup semi-final and 2 European Championship finals. And while his critics will point out he failed to bring the trophy home, you can't ignore the fact he got England closer than anyone since 1966. He knows pressure, he knows scrutiny, and if there's anywhere on this planet that matches the unforgiving intensity of managing England, it's Glasgow, and more specifically, it's Ibrox. Scott Burns has gone on record saying Rangers should aim high, and Southgate fits that billing. Profile? Check. Experience? Check. Composure under fire? Check. But here's where it gets tasty. Would the man, famous for keeping things tight and playing it safe, survive the relentless demands of Rangers, where only attacking front foot football is good enough? We're not looking for a seminar on structure or a press conference masterclass. We're looking for silverware, for dominance, for a man who understands what it means to win at Ibrox, to stand in the dugout and stare across the pitch at Celtic and expect to beat them. Southgate's never worked in club football at a high level. His only managerial stint before England was at Middlesbrough over a decade ago, and let's be honest, that didn't exactly set the heather on fire. So it's a massive leap from St. George's Park to Govan, where the fans aren't chanting your name for reaching a final. They're demanding trophies or you're out the door. Would bringing Gareth Southgate to Rangers be a masterstroke that brings class and calm to Ibrox? Or would it be the softest managerial appointment in the club's history? A man too timid for a job that demands fire in the belly. Comment below what you think about the news. Don't forget to leave a like on the video to help me out. I post videos every day talking about our Rangers, so if you're not subscribed, you're missing out on the latest news. See you soon.